Thank you, Wendy. And hi, everybody. I want to thank CAI for inviting me back, and thank all of you for being on this webinar. I like interaction and feedback with the attendees during these webinars. So if there are there will be a few places where I'm going to ask a question, and you can answer in the chat box, because I'm interested to see where you're at, what your experience is. Also, if you have a question or a comment during the presentation, you are welcome to put it in the chat box, and we'll look at that for some discussion. I'll keep my eye on it, and I'll try to get to it. And with that, let's get started. I've written several books on knowledge management and working with subject matter experts, as I mentioned, and that's a really important part of any strategic planning process. A strategic planning session is a process. It's where you create your plans to drive your business forward by developing high-level direction. In this session, we'll look at the practical aspects of collecting and choosing information for decision-making that drives strategic direction, as well as how to work with detail-oriented technical experts to help them get them out of the weeds and achieve higher-level strategic thinking. Every strategic plan starts with clearly understanding your company's mission and vision to help clarify your big picture and goals. So if your company doesn't have a mission or a vision statement, now is a good time to create one before you start the planning process. You should have someone with experience to guide that strategic planning process for you and get alignment with all the interests that focus on your customers. You also need to understand, what is your goal? What are your goals? And how do they support and advance your mission? After that, you want to go through a SWOT process, and we'll discuss that in a minute, to review your current circumstances and establish a baseline or a starting point for your plan. Because after you create the plan, you're going to want to establish metrics and ask yourself, how are we going to measure ourselves? And there are only four measurements that really count in business. So all your metrics should either tie to safety, quality, schedule, or cost. Did we bring it in on time? Did we bring it in on budget? And finally, you want to identify breakthrough opportunities to become best in class or best in industry. Because after all, the whole point of strategic plan is to build a road and aim to be the best at something. Otherwise, it'd be kind of strange to say, well, our goal is that we'd like to be second best in the luxury car company world. It doesn't sound right. So with that overview of the content that we're going to talk about, I'm going to dig in and let's look at the strategic planning for a digital transformation. What's that? That's when the world is moving more quickly than your plan. Yeah, we're going in the right direction. Great. So how did that last strategic planning session work out for you? First, a few facts. Well, first of all, information doubles every 24 hours. That means the data inputs you were using yesterday might not be valid today. Until a few weeks ago, I was using the most commonly accepted statistic that information doubles every 2 years. But the new IBM estimate is every 24 hours, and we're going to go with that. And our next fact is about 90% of strategic plans fail. And let me throw in a third statistic I found the other day, and I didn't have time to put it on the slide. Less than 1 in 3 companies successfully complete their digital transformation. Would there be a connection? You betcha. People go into a strategic planning session with high hopes. They're going to drive their business to new heights. They're going to drive competitors out of business. They're going to come up with a breakthrough product that are going to send profits soaring. But what actually happens often is that this blue sky thinking isn't tied to reality. And you know the term blue sky thinking. It's when you're dreaming the big dreams, you have no ceilings or clouds. It's all clear blue sky as far as you can see. And actually, a good strategic plan sets its sights high, but it is based in reality. And that calls for knowing reality. So let's stop and ask a question, because I want to gauge your experience with strategic planning before we continue. So here's a question. This is the time to use the chat box if you'd like. I want to know who here has participated in a strategic planning session. I see the Q&A box is red. Let's see if I can. Yes, we have a yes. Anybody else? No. What's a strategic planning session? Let's see. Anybody have? Okay. Good. All right. Excellent. Let's see if I can see. There's a comment here. Good. Okay, we have a little bit of a baseline to work on. So for bonus points, if you participated in one, would you say that it was productive? And by that I mean, did it result in tangible progress? Because it'd be good to hear your experience as we discuss this. Did anybody participate in one that they would like to comment about it? I'm looking to see if I can see. Okay, we have some yeses, a lot of detail. Okay, let's move on. So to dig into the strategic planning process, today we'll discuss how to avoid the information lag. And that means you have to account for the fact that while you're establishing your baseline data, the world continues to move at a rapid pace. And the continual gathering of information means that your assumptions may be invalid later due to new data. So in order to help avoid this lag, you want to start with a SWOT analysis of your situation, which is a process where you assess your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. And you'll also want to name your internal poison. Most companies have at least one thing that's keeping them back, and it's glaring. And it's obvious to people on the inside. And the best thing to do is to name it so it can be dealt with. Next, decide, do you want to be best in class? Or let's say we make the best men's athletic socks in Connecticut. Or the best in industry. We make the best men's socks in the world. And after you've decided what you want to be, you have to decide how you're going to measure it. By revenue, by price, by quality measures, say how many times people can wear the socks, by units sold, and then decide how are you going to measure it, monthly, annually? Will you be using a certain reporting agency, wholesaler data, some other commonly accepted metric? So when you go into the strategic planning process, you should have a fairly well-developed idea about where you want to land. You may know some of that before you start the process, but you will learn much of this as you start to have discussions with your strategic planning group. In fact, if you are doing a strategic plan for its highest and best use, you should.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.